Hi everyone, my name is Jeannie Dickson and I'm excited to be sharing with you today this holiday lettering piece demonstration using watercolors. Today I'll be using a 9x12 cold press 140-pound Blick Premier Watercolor Block, Princeton Series 4050 Heritage Brush Set, Angora Opaque Watercolor Pan Set, and Finetech Artists Mica Watercolors, as well as a container with water and paper towels. Step 1 is to sketch out our design. I selected the quote "Merry and Bright," so using only one color, I'm going to work on designing the look of each letter and the overall composition. This is a good time to decide the size and the style of your letters. For the word Merry, I'm using print letters that have a strong contrast between thick and thin lines. For the rest of the quote, I'm using letters that have more of a script look. It's also a good idea to use cheap copy paper to work on different layouts. I've already selected my design, so I'm going to sketch it out with the brushes I intend to use for the final piece. I've decided to incorporate a few Christmas lights, and notice how one of them will be the dot of the letter I in the word bright. I'm adding a few final details such as drop shadows and some dots and lines to enhance my letters. Now that we have our sketch, we can proceed to select our colors. Since I'm taking my inspiration from colorful Christmas lights, I'm choosing a rainbow color scheme. I will be using the 1/2-inch angle wash brush that comes in this set to create the main strokes and the size 6 round brush to paint the rounded serifs. These are the little extensions in our letters. The Princeton Heritage synthetic sable brushes work perfectly with watercolors as they hold a lot of water and release pigment beautifully as you paint each stroke. They also have a natural snap that helps you have more control when lettering. The Angora watercolor paints we're using are very opaque and the colors look vibrant over the Blick watercolor paper. I'm using the round size 6 brush to go over each letter to make sure that colors are blending well and finishing up some of the strokes that may need to be adjusted. For the script style letters, I'll be using exclusively the round size 6 brush. This process can be very calming as you have to slow down to paint each letter. The next step is to paint the drop shadows using the size 2 round brush. I'm using the tip of my brush to create the thinner strokes. This step takes a little while. Don't rush it, that way you can create some clean and steady lines. Next, using a permanent marker, color in the elements where you will be applying the metallic watercolors. The reason for this is that metallic watercolors look best when painted over a black surface, and since we're using white watercolor paper, this is the perfect workaround. And don't worry, since the marker is permanent, it will not mix with your watercolor paints. Just give it a few seconds to dry before applying your paint. The Finetech set comes with 24 colors that are extremely shiny. Some of these colors will look great over white watercolor paper, such as the gold and the bronze. However, other colors will look transparent and will not have the same shine as if they were applied over a black surface. Now we're moving on to paint some additional details to enhance our letters. I'm painting some dots and lines to give each letter more character. Adding all those gold details and gold drop shadows really takes our watercolor piece to the next level. I decided to add a few snowflakes because the turquoise adds a good contrast to the gold paint. It's so fun to color with a permanent marker and then cover it completely with the shiny metallic watercolor paints. And there you have it, our merry and bright lettering watercolor piece, ready to be framed and hung in your house or to give as a gift to a loved one. Hope you get inspired to get your paints out and have fun with watercolors.